I wasn't even going to make a video upon this subject because it's really a non-subject, but I just had to because this is so ludicrous. This is probably, it's not among his top 5 worst takes, but it is one of the dumber ones that I feel like I just have to because he's made a bunch of takes about Cleveland sports that he has nothing to do with. He needs to stick to the South and, more importantly, with the Dallas Cowboys because they have their own garbage to deal with. A guy that, even if you don't want to say he was respected, me, you, everyone that watches sports grew up watching him on ESPN's First Take, Cold Pizza, First and 10, whatever they called it between all the rebrands. And if you're a little bit younger, FS1's, what do they even call it? Undisputed with Shannon Sharpe. I never really watched it. I don't even watch TV. I didn't watch it a lot as a kid either. But I just have to talk about Skip Bayless' tweet. Let's go through here. A bunch of stuff from the Bears and Vikings game. Didn't watch it, but I know J.J. McCarthy's an animal. Where are you? Let's see. He talked a lot about the arenas. That's pretty funny. That those two are working together. There we go. If Shador had started yesterday for the Browns, they would have beaten the Bengals. There's so much wrong with this statement. As a Cleveland Browns fan, I was shocked when we drafted Shador. But I was like, okay, we haven't had a QB workout since Baker Mayfield, who should still be a Cleveland Brown. I am going to keep hoping harder. And someone commented that I probably wanted him gone and complained that I wanted him gone in 2021 or, during his, when he was trying to play for us with a broken shoulder, which I didn't want him to because, the guy was literally a shell of himself, but I didn't want him gone. I wanted him to be healthy. I wanted him to have an actual healthy life. He should have just gotten surgery. The Browns could have just tanked and, gotten a better pick. But anyway, enough of me. Enough about Baker at this point. If Shador had started yesterday for the Browns, they would have beaten the Bengals. Here's the thing. Browns defense, 7 yards in the second half They allowed 7 yards in the second half to the Bengals, who have one of the high-powered offenses. So not the defense's fault. Joe Flacco threw for 290 yards. Very, very efficient. 2 turnovers, which again, were not his fault. Jerry Jeudy literally kick-flipped it into one of the one of the Bengals defenders' hands. So that's the first pick. Second pick was literally just so inexcusable that Bannon just gave it to him. So, Joe Flacco, not the problem. Ball catchers, big problem. We need to stop dropping the ball. Jerry Jeudy, Harold Fannin had a good debut, but you can't give it to him. And, our most reliable receiver is a guy who usually wasn't very reliable in his early career. He still has focus drop issues, but David Njoku is our number 1 receiver. It wasn't him. Our running game sucked. We couldn't run. We had to pass. Dylan Sampson is an animal. I feel like he's going to be our third down back. Keenshawn, when is he going to return? Who knows? Hopefully our run game gets going this year. I don't think it's going to go versus the Ravens, but we'll talk about that at a later date. The real problem was Andre Schmidt. And I love Andre Schmidt. I call him no vowels because that's literally, he has no vowels on the back of his jersey, like no common vowels. Like, Y is a vowel sometimes, and at this point, it does count as a vowel because it is a very interesting last name. But he was the problem. He's going wide right. He's trying to... And there was hardly any wind in the stadium. Let it be known. There was no wind in that stadium for the first time in forever. The weather was not the problem for anything. Everything was going well. We were holding the Bengals to 16 points. When they scored on the first drive, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. We might need to score 30 points. No, the Browns defense didn't really give up gash plays. The Bengals were just very methodical, very smart with the football, you know. And then in the second half, we locked in. We honed in. Homing rockets right into the teeth of Joe Burrow. Myles Garrett literally almost decapitated Joe Burrow. We would have won. We were missing 4 points, Andre Schmidt kicks. We were missing points because of 2 interceptions that were great throws by Joe Flacco. Could have been better on the one that Fannin dropped, but that's okay. You know, not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything's going to be hunky-dory. Completely understandable. We are still missing those 4 points. Even if we get the 1 point from the extra point, we're tied, OT, who knows what's going to happen. It's a great game 1. Skip, this makes 0 sense. You know it. Mel Kiper knows it. It's whether you guys want to admit it or not. George Sanders was not ready. He proved it in the second preseason game. He proved it in the first preseason game. We all looked at the touchdowns and were like, oh my God, this guy's great. But he's taking stupid sacks. He's making stupid plays. He's trying to do an entire 100-meter race behind the line of scrimmage, trying to find an open lane where there's nothing behind him. Like, you can't do that. You can't keep running backwards, because these guys are not college football players anymore. This is National Football League. Everyone's big and fast. Everyone can chase you down. It doesn't matter if you have 4.2 speed or I think Shedeur has 4.7, 4.8 speed. It doesn't matter. They're going to chase you down. It's going to be 20-yard sacks. You can't do it. Shedeur is not ready for the National Football League yet. Will it change with time? I really hope so, whether it's with the Browns or whether it's with any of the 31 other teams. But he's a National Football League player that needs to develop. He's not ready. Skip, this is stupid. You should never have tweeted this. This is garbage. You've been on TV for 30 years. You've been covering football since well before most of us new sports fans have been alive, even some of the older ones. This is garbage. This is actually trash. Skip Bayless, you should be ashamed.